A winter storm will impact us here in southeast Texas, but it looks like for most of us, the freezing weather will hold off for most of Saturday and blow in here Saturday night and Sunday. I'm ABC 13 Chief Meteorologist Travis Herzog. Here's your need to know weather. We have converted our alert day on Saturday to an ABC 13 weather watch because we think for the most part, we're not going to have too many issues, at least no freezing issues. It'll be a cold, wet, windy day. So if you can handle that, your plan should be okay, at least in this part of the state. The winter storm, meanwhile, will be raging in the northern half of Texas, and so hazardous travel is likely in the northern parts of Texas starting on Saturday. But for us, primarily a cold rain. Then Saturday night, the freeze line charges in, and there will still be some precipitation occurring, especially the first half of Sunday. So we think there's a freezing rain mix that could make it all the way down to the Texas Gulf Coast. Accumulations in our part of the state overall will be lower than northern parts of Texas, but if we have any icy problems, those will really start to pop up by Sunday morning. And we may not get above freezing Sunday afternoon. And so anything that is frozen on Sunday will remain frozen on Monday morning when we have our coldest freeze, a hard freeze down into the teens and low 20s. But the sun comes out on Monday and should be able to warm us up above the 40-degree mark. Here is our ice cast showing the potential for over a quarter inch of accumulation across northern parts of Texas, centered along the I-20 corridor. Anytime you get a quarter inch of ice developing on power lines, it can start to sag them and take them down. Meanwhile, here in southeast Texas, we're on that gradient where we go from really high ice accumulations to hardly anything, if nothing at all. And so impacts will vary across the region, with the more significant impacts felt generally north of Interstate 10. The upper level low that brings in the Pacific moisture will be working its way into Texas Friday and Saturday. And so we're going to see that moist air override the Arctic air, and where the freeze line is where we'll start to get initially freezing rain and sleet. And some folks way up in northern parts of Texas can even get some snow. But here in our part of the state, it looks like the air will be too warm above the ground to generate any decent chance of snowflakes. We might get a few flurries towards the end of this, but for the most part, it's a freezing rain or a cold rain and a little bit of sleet. And then things will be clearing out in terms of the precipitation by Sunday evening. So here's a look at our future track with temperatures thrown on. Starting off on Friday evening, the colder air is beginning to arrive, but the Arctic air won't get here until Saturday night. So the temperatures will keep falling throughout the day as the rain comes down. And then by 6 p.m., you can see how our future track has the freeze line already cutting through Huntsville, Navasota, Brenham, and LaGrange. And then it descends towards Houston and Harris County by midnight Sunday. And by 9 a.m., the hard freeze line is already north and west of Houston, the light freeze line making it down towards the Gulf Coast. And if we've got moisture on roadways, precipitation falling, and temperatures are in the mid to upper 20s, that's when we really start to see the bridges, the overpasses, the elevated roadways begin to ice up. So icy roads will be possible, especially if we don't get above freezing on Sunday afternoon. And then anything that does melt will refreeze again on Sunday night when we have a cold weather alert in effect, that extreme cold watch with hard freeze likely, single-digit wind chills, and we could easily spend over 24 hours below freezing. Then Monday morning is the coldest we get. We're looking at low 20s in Houston, upper teens north and west of town. If your pipes are not protected, they are at risk of bursting. And every warm-blooded thing, people, pets, livestock, need to be protected from the incoming cold Monday morning, with wind chill readings down into the single digits and low teens. That's the kind of wind chill that can lead to hypothermia if folks are not properly protected and have a warm shelter. So make sure everyone has a warm spot to go to bed on Sunday night until things warm up again on Monday. We still have a couple of mild afternoons with temperatures in the 60s and 70s to prepare for the incoming freeze. It looks like, again, the highest impact for us will be felt Saturday night, Sunday, and Monday. Another freeze is possible on Tuesday morning, even potentially a hard freeze in parts of southeast Texas. And then temperatures moderate a bit towards the end of the week, but we may have another significant cold front coming in the following weekend. We continue to get more and more data coming into the ABC 13 Weather Center. We're monitoring all the trends, and we'll report back to you if anything in our thinking changes. Otherwise, enjoy the rest of your Thursday, and we'll keep watching the weather for you.